Luciano welcome to Ames and O'Brien.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Sean, for inviting me out here. I've never been to Louisiana, so I needed to do the trip anyways. And this is a really personal subject to me. So it was in 2010. I deployed to Iraq from 08 to 09. During that time, I saw some things that it's hard to get those images out of your mind. And in 2010, I decided I was done, and I just didn't want to get help anymore. I didn't want anyone to, it just felt like I was alone. And because the people you deploy with, they move on. They go to the new stations, they take care of their families, they get out, they move somewhere else. So in the end, you feel like you're alone. You'd be surrounded by thousands of people, you would still feel like you're all alone. So in 2010, I go home one day, and I go into my kitchen, and I see 4 bottles of pills. And I sit there, and I open them, and I take every single one of them. They're antidepressants, sleep medication, some other pills. I don't even remember. I just grabbed whatever I could find. I chugged them down. I drank some beers to try to speed up the effect, and I ended up destroying my house, breaking my hand by hitting the walls, put holes all through the house. Next thing I know, I black out. The last thing I remember is I felt my soul leaving my body. You could feel yourself dying, and I realized then that it was a horrible feeling because I wasn't ready. And I got to wake up that next morning. 22 veterans a day, they don't. One soldier a day, they don't get to wake up that next morning and decide that they just made this big mistake. So this is something very personal to me, and it's hard to talk about, but it needs to be talked about. And there's not one veteran that goes around and talks about it from his own perspective because he's embarrassed of it, or because, it's hard for us. And we need a veteran there, and we need family, and we need support. So I woke up that next morning in the hospital, and I was told that they called my family, and they told them that they didn't know if I was going to make it through the night. They said that they didn't know the damage that was done to my kidneys. And so my mother had to get a call that said, your son, who's in Hawaii, and she's in Texas, she couldn't come to the hospital to see me, but she was told that they didn't know if I was going to make it through the night. And that killed her, to get that call that this might not, I might not be able to see my son again. And not because he went to war and he defended what he believed in, but because he came back and he went through a different kind of war, an invisible war. It doesn't stop when we get on that airplane and hit back on U.S. soil. That's not where it ends. In all honesty, for a veteran, that's where it begins. Because when you're out there, all you think about is making it to the next day. It's surviving, and you look out for your friends, and that's all you worry about. And then you come back, and it's like, this war is so much worse. This war on PTSD, or the thoughts, or the memories, or the dreams. And so I want to change that, and make it known that it's okay to think that way. It's okay to feel this way, but it's not okay to act on it. We're here, and one person can make a big difference. And just like Sean said, a simple handshake, thanking a veteran for what he did, just let him realize that what he did isn't unforgotten, or isn't forgotten. Because when you go, you don't hear about it on the news anymore, or it's not talked about anymore. We've been in this war for so long now that it's just become normal, and that's not all right. And so what I've done is I've written a book, and it's called Welcoming Your Soldier Home, and it's a book to help families learn ways to support a soldier. Because when we come back, we feel crazy. We feel like we're not normal anymore. These people right here driving down the road, they're not looking on the sides of the road. They're texting on their phones or doing their makeup, or they're not paying attention. But when a soldier first comes back from war, he's checking the sides, making sure there's no bombs. He's checking and make sure that no one's going to jump out and shoot at him. And when you come back, you're not supposed to think that way, but you do. So you feel like you're not normal anymore. Your family tells you that you're not the same. What happened to you? When you left, you came back different. And they just say that you've changed, but they make it sound like it's in a bad way. Because when you're out there being paranoid, that's a good thing, you know? It's not called being paranoid, it's called surviving. When you come back here, everybody calls it paranoid. So, I wrote this book, and what it does is it helps you realize, it helps you go through sleeping situations when a soldier wakes up from a nightmare, how to react to him, and how to make him feel like it's okay that he had that dream. Or that it's okay that when he goes to a concert, every person that's around him, he constantly scans and he watches, and you know, he looks around all the time wondering if this guy, he can come at me from this side, or this guy, you know, he could have something in his pocket that I don't know. So, I'm tired of hearing these numbers. In 2012, that more soldiers died by their own hands than in war. You know, I believe there was 319 KIA in the Army in last year, and over 350, I believe, that killed themselves. And it's not okay, you know, and we can all make a difference. We can do something to stop it. And so what I want to do is I want to go and I want to speak and I want to tell my story, and I want to talk to family members, and I want to spread the word that, you know, give advice. And the first person, you know, we have counselors and we have support, but that's sometimes not enough. You need that experience. You need someone that's been there, that's been through it. Because we come back and we talk to someone, and all you think the whole time you're talking to them is they're not going to understand this. You know, they weren't there, they don't know. And so I wrote this book, and I'm going to be traveling around. We just got an offer to go to Boston and do a TV show. And I want to spread this nationwide, and I want to make a difference. And with people like Sean and like NOLA Patriots and Senator or Congressman, you know, it's with people like this, it's going to make a difference. You know, we can make a difference. Excuse me. So I appreciate it. Thank you. But you know, I look out here and I see families and friends, and you know, we understand. It's hard. It's hard whenever you get that phone call, and we need to make it to where families don't have to go through this anymore, and to where soldiers and veterans don't have to go through this, so that just make them realize that it's all right. So I appreciate again for inviting me out here, and sorry about that. It's my first speech, and it's still pretty sensitive to me. But again, thank you all for coming out here and supporting, and I really appreciate the gesture.